Hello, welcome to Books with Linda. Today I'm going to do my birthday book haul. These are all books that I was either given for my birthday or I purchased with birthday money. The first book I have to show to you today is called The Elite, which is by Kira Cass. This is the second book in the Selection trilogy, which is a series of books that follows a character called America Singer, and she is one of 35 girls that is chosen to compete to become princess of the country, and they're picked out by the prince. It's kind of like The Bachelor but dystopian. And next up I've got Knight's Edge by Charlene Harris, Maggie Cheyenne and Barbara Hambly. I got this because it looked cool and because it was only $2 at Target. And it's basically 3 short stories in one book. So if you like vampire stories and Twilight and things like that, you'll probably like this one. And my next book, I'm very excited about this one, is called Reboot by Amy Tintera. This book is amazing. Like, I haven't read it, but everybody reviews it and they talk about how great it is. Basically, this girl has died and she comes back to life. And every time you die and come back to life, you become stronger and more, like, robotic and more able to be like a really cool soldier or something. Anyway, it sounds very cool. Next up, I'm going to show you The Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the same author that wrote the Mortal Instruments series. The Mortal Instruments series first book, which is City of Bones, has been recently made into a movie. This series is set in Victorian England, so the reign of Queen Victoria, and a lot of the characters in these books are the ancestors of the characters that come later on in the Mortal Instruments series. And next I have a book that I have no idea what it's about, but it looked cool and it was only $2, and it's called Conspiracy 365 July Code Black, and it's a top secret mission, so I'll be interested to see what that's all about. And next up I got Fashionistas by Lynn Messina. Some of the last names, I'm sorry, authors I just can't pronounce. So this is basically, this is a bit of a light-hearted one. This is about people working at a fashion magazine or something. So that'll be cool to read too. Next up I'm going to show you Rogue Angel Destiny by Alex Archer. This book is about an archaeologist, and she is fascinated with myths of the past, which ends up leading her to a crypt in the caves of France. This book was pretty cool because it was only $1 and it sounds really awesome, and its main protagonist is a female and she looks like she's gonna kick a few butts. The next book I'm very excited about. This is called Darkness Be My Friend. This is by John Marsden. He is a very famous Australian youth author. This is the 4th book in the Tomorrow When the War Began series, and I've never read the book, but we own the movie and it's pretty cool. These teenagers go on this camping trip into this area where they're in the middle of nowhere, and they come home and they find out that a war has broken out, and they're like the only people in their town almost that have not been captured by these people, and it's pretty amazing because they're like teenagers and they're having to fight this war, and yeah, it's pretty good. So that's the 4th book. Next up we have Thriller, which is edited by James Patterson, and he's like a well-known thriller author, and then there's like lots of small stories in here by other authors, so that means there's lots of different stories in there, short stories to read, so that'll be pretty cool to read. Next up I've got Wither, which is the first book in the Chemical Garden trilogy, and it's by Lauren Di Stefano. Basically this is a dystopian future where, as a result of DNA engineering, people only lived to be the age of 20 as female and age 25 as males. And it's got, the main protagonist is a 16-year-old, and the story kind of goes that the girls are being abducted and they make them breed, obviously, before they die at the age of 20. So it'll be very interesting to see where this lands them. Next up, I've got Spyglass by Maria V. Snyder. This is the third book in the Glass trilogy. It'll be good to eventually read the first two books in the series as well to piece it all together, but it was $2 at Target, so I couldn't exactly pass up a bargain like that. Brand new book, $2, not bad. Next book I have to show you today is 14 by J.T. Ellison. So this is a murder mystery sort of book. And the original case started in the 1980s. And then, fast forward a few more years into the future, now 4 more bodies are found. Anyway, I'm a bit into the murder mystery genre, so this kind of sounds a bit like a bit of a CSI, NCIS sort of thing, so pretty keen to get into that one. The next books I have to show to you today are all by the same author. Author is called Philippa Gregory, and the first book that I have to show to you is called The Boleyn Inheritance. This is set during the reign of Henry VIII. The main characters of the story are Anne of Cleves, which was his wife that he wasn't married to for very long because he didn't like her very much. I watched a show once where they portrayed him and he said that he thought that she looked like a horse. So after Anne of Cleves, he got married to Catherine Howard, who was young, sprightly and only 17 years old. One of her other queens, obviously, that he was married to was Anne Boleyn, and we all know what ended up happening to her. So that's going to bring me to my next book, which is called The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory. The main story of this book is actually about Anne's sister Mary, who was actually the mistress of Henry VIII before he met and married Anne. So this has actually been made into a movie. The movie's pretty good. It's got Eric Bana in it, Natalie Portman and Scarlett Johansson. So that's the Other Boleyn Girl. There's a lot more books in this series. So depending on what I think of it, I might get a couple more and have a read. I did see some of the libraries, so who knows. So Boleyn Girl. And last in our Queens and Princesses with Philippa Gregory is called The White Queen. Now this has actually been made into a TV series on the BBC. This is set before the Tudors, so these are probably like the mums and dads of Henry and his wives, and the main character, obviously the White Queen, her name is Elizabeth Woodville, and she's a widow, and she becomes the Queen of England, Earthly Joys, and this is about people during the era of King Charles I. Next up have Wide Acre, which is set in the 18th century. So a woman living basically in a time, and she knows that she's been treated unfairly because she's not able to inherit her family estate. Zelda's Cut, and it's by Philippa Gregory. That sounds a bit of deception, bit of intrigue, bit of mystery. So it'll be interesting to pick up and have a read of. Anyway, that's my basically part 1 book haul of my birthday books. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye!